Hi, everyone. I was in Clara's chat the other day, Sheriff Clara, dishing the dirt, and she asked for an update on Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker. Ask and ye shall receive. Excuse me. Now, this is from December 17th, usweekly.com. Or, excuse me, usmagazine.com. Kandi Burruss reveals her holiday plans with estranged husband Todd Tucker amid divorce mess. Kandi Burruss won't let her divorce from Todd Tucker prevent her from experiencing a holly jolly Christmas. You all already know I'm going through a divorce, but we have decided that we're still going to do Christmas together. Burruss, 49 years old, shared on Monday, December 15th, on an episode of her podcast on Amazon Live. Even though we have all this mess going on right now, we still gonna do it together for our kids. So we are spending Christmas in New York. Before casually showcasing her favorite stocking stuffers, including a Hooga Life car air freshener, Burruss asked friends to help her out before the celebrations begin. Does anyone have any suggestions of something fun to do while the kids are here? She asked. They're super excited. Burruss is spending time in New York instead of her hometown of Atlanta because she is currently playing Angelique in the hit musical and Julia. Earlier this month, the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star appeared on The View to perform a song from the Broadway show. Her estranged husband later posted a clip from that segment via Instagram, writing, "At Kandi, great job. Keep inspiring and doing your thing." During her Amazon Live, Burruss, who is mom to Riley, 23, Ace, 9, and Blaze, 6, admitted that her latest work commitment makes it hard to experience every milestone with her children. My daughter Blaze had her dance recital yesterday, Burruss revealed. But she did really good. My mom went, Carmen went, the whole squad was there, and Todd was there. Back in November, Burruss surprised some fans when she announced her plans to divorce Tucker, 52, after 11 years of marriage. After deep thought and a lot of prayer, I've made the decision to move forward with a divorce. This is a difficult and emotional time, but my focus remains on protecting my peace, being the best mother I can be, and co parenting with love and respect. Burr said in a statement to US Weekly on November 21st, "I'm stepping into a new chapter, pouring into my work, my family, and my own growth. I'm grateful to everyone who supported us throughout the years, and I ask for privacy, grace, and understanding as we navigate and transition with our family." Since then, the estranged couple have made headlines for some of their court filings. Tucker has requested primary custody of his two kids with Burruss. The Bravo star welcomed Riley while in a previous relationship, Meanwhile, Burruss asks that all filings, testimony, and other evidence be sealed. My life has been going crazy lately, Burruss revealed during a November 24th Amazon Live podcast, referring to her recent split. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I am up and down. Obviously, going through a divorce is definitely not the easiest thing. Sometimes you're cool, you're moving, you're mixing, you're moving, you're hanging out with friends, but then sometimes you have moments of sadness. Excuse me. Still dealing with the flu. And me being the Taurus that I am, I like to keep those moments to myself. Okay, there's a guy on YouTube. Everyone should check out. His name is Kempire. Kempire. He is amazing, amazing with all this celebrity gossip about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and shows like that. Okay. I don't know how. Now, this is just my opinion. They can celebrate the holidays together with all that's going on. I also think it's funny how Todd flew to New York for this, which means the kids are already here with her. The kids already happy. The kids are already happy with her, but he wants the kids with him back in Atlanta. Now, of course, if he wants custody of the kids, he's gonna want child support for both kids. I don't trust Todd. I mean, I used to think, and I still think this, Mama Joyce wanted to make sure whatever money she was getting from Kandi, nothing was going to happen to it. But where Todd is concerned, she was 100% right. In the 11 years they've been together, Kandi Burruss's net worth has not moved. Well, if he's this great producer and she's been doing a bunch of shit, they've had these businesses, you would think the net worth went up at some point, but it hasn't. It's like stagnated. I also remember parts of the show where Kandi was even telling him, maybe just hold back a little because you make one project, you don't finish, and then you're on to another one. Well, that was basically all he did, using her money, not his, and acting like it was no big deal. That's a problem. I don't know where he got this idea that all this could just happen. I know they have tax problems up the wazoo. That's not because of Kandi. Because if you look back, we never heard anything about Kandi having tax problems. Excuse me, until Todd came into her life and started making these businesses. Um, Now we know. Sorry, it takes forever to load. Takes forever to load. It doesn't always listen. But we know from the show, Todd did not want a prenup. I don't care what anyone says. He was fighting that shit like crazy. Then, at some point, he said, well, all I want is this and this. And I'll sign the prenup. So she said to him, are you sure? He said, yes. It's on recording. Now he wants to pull he was under duress. All this money was hers. I think it's like $40 million. He didn't even hit a net worth of $500,000. Okay? Now the rumors have been flying around. Todd's got a girlfriend. Now a lot of people would say, why does he have a girlfriend when Kandi was allowing other women to be brought into their bed? Well, here's the thing. When you have that kind of relationship, and I'm sure it happens with women as well, but all I've seen is it happens with men. Men don't know how to follow those rules. Well, we both want the chick. She comes into our bed. We both fuck her. It's just sex. She goes on her way. We never see her again. Most of the time, from what I've seen, men will go and then find any girl they want and just start fucking them. And say, well, you allowed it here. Well, yeah, that was a joint decision. You going off and fucking whatever girl you want is not a joint decision. And like I said, you could go back and watch the show. She said to him, look, I think we need to cool it with making these new businesses because you haven't even finished these. The look on Todd's face was literally saying to me, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm good at this and I'm going to continue to do it. How are you good at making businesses if you never finish? And then those businesses have to make money. And even Sheriff Clara said, if in 11 years Kandi's net worth didn't move, Todd wasn't doing anything for the marriage, wasn't doing anything for them financially, and he wasn't. Now they've got tax problems up the wazoo, which Kandi feels they both should take care of, but I guarantee you Todd doesn't want to pay off those bills. He wants her to do it, thinking, oh, well, she's got the money, let her do it. Now, there was never a problem when both Kandi and Todd were going off on business excursions and adventures, vacations by themselves without the kids. Todd flying here, there, and anywhere for his business dealings, his producing things or whatever, and then Kandi going off separately to somewhere else. Never a problem. Now that they're getting a divorce, he doesn't want the kids to be left alone. No, the gold digging bastard wants that child support. I've also heard he wants double alimony. This motherfucker claims he's capable of making money, which, according to her net worth and even his net worth, which hasn't moved in 11 years, has proven he cannot. Why the hell should he get any kind of alimony when it looks like he didn't even contribute to the marriage financially? Go back and watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Damn, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm still fighting the flu. And go back and look at Kandi's wedding. He didn't want her spending all the money she was spending on the wedding. They weren't even married yet. She wasn't planning on getting a divorce after this or getting married after this, so she wanted her dream wedding. And to make her dream wedding wasn't gonna hurt them financially. But he didn't want the money being spent. But whenever he wanted the money spent, that was okay. Now, this is the last video on Kempire's channel. God damn. It's the last one showing anything about Kandi that I can see. Let's see what Kempire has to say.
According to a new report, Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss could lose her battle to Todd Tucker in this battle over the prenuptial agreement being enforced. Not only that, Todd Tucker is taking to social media to show support to Kandi despite this ongoing divorce.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire Channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So it's been a while since we talked about Kandi and Todd's divorce because the last report that we gave you, Kandi has asked the court to seal these divorce proceedings because it's already starting to get a little messy. But also since then, Kandi has taken to social media to thank everyone for their support, saying check in on your strong friend, which she considers herself one of the strong friends.
And like I said, this guy Kempire is one of the best for getting this information. He truly is.
and a lot of people were showing support for her in her comment section. But Todd Tucker, it felt like Todd, anytime that Kandi would post about what she was going through, not really talking about the divorce, it felt like Todd would then make his own social media post, almost trying to.
Yeah, he's trying to put her down in a sense. He doesn't want her talking about it at all, but if he wants to, he can. Todd Tucker is no good. He's just not.
Garner the same sympathy. It just felt that way. I'm not saying that's exactly what was happening. He's also going through this divorce as well. However,
But according to rumors, he caused it. Kandi even had a tour that was a sexual tour. She doesn't care about that stuff. It's when he took it upon himself to do something separately, she had a problem. Now, a lot of people might say, well, you're welcoming that kind of stuff in if you do that kind of stuff. I happen to agree, especially with seeing Todd on the show really not consider Kandi at all in any of the things he wanted to do. It was always she had to, it's their money. No, it's not. It's her money. And they had a restaurant called the Old Lady Gang. It's gone. They had a restaurant called Blaze. It's gone. These were two of Todd's ventures. And if I'm correct, he tried to do a third. Now, with problems with the IRS and whatever, means taxes weren't getting paid. So if Todd was mostly the one with his hands on this stuff, he caused a lot of tax problems for Kandi. And he wants all this alimony and shit, which basically means he doesn't have to pay a dime of that shit. It's still going to be Kandi's money. And I don't understand this whole double alimony thing. What, he marry her twice?
seems as if, according to Us Weekly's new report, that the prenuptial agreement that Todd Tucker, in his recent divorce proceedings, has asked for the prenuptial agreement to be not enforced. He's also asking for primary custody. Kandi's response to that was that, first of all, you're just as busy as I am. You're out of Atlanta just as I am. And the prenuptial agreement should be enforced because you signed it willingly, and we have footage to show that. Well, according to Us Weekly, they say this. They said that Kandi Burruss' estranged husband, Todd Tucker, might have a fighting chance at winning his prenuptial agreement in their ongoing divorce, but it'll be tricky, legal experts warn. Anytime a person signs a prenuptial agreement days or hours before their wedding, they are creating an argument to be made later that they were under duress or undue pressure to sign the document. So
which that tells me Todd may have known that from the get-go. And he was always planning for this if this happened. It's on video. He said he only wanted two things. I don't remember what the two things were. It was actually on one of Kempire's videos. I saw this. It's his mouth and Kandi's mouth. He said what he wanted, and she agreed to it. Why did he drag signing the prenup out so long? He might have known if this came up, it could happen. He also wanted his name put on Kandi's house, which was hers before they even met. That's what I mean. This is the kind of douchebag he is. He wants access to whatever she had before they even met. He's already been seen partying with women, and the gossip is he's getting these women by telling them he's going to get half of Kandi's shit. There are other people other than Kempire I listen to, and this is what's coming out. It's all alleged. I'm not there. I didn't hear it. I don't know. But would you really put it past Todd?
He thinks that Todd did not think that he could fight the prenuptial agreement, but when he explained to his divorce attorneys how it all played out, the divorce attorneys probably said, we should probably question this. Or maybe they didn't even say that. Maybe they were just saying, well, you signed a prenuptial agreement. Tell me a little bit more about that. And maybe that was the decision. Not saying that it was the right decision. So this was from Holly Davidson, a founding partner of Kirker Davis LLP, who is not connected to the former couple's divorce, but they exclusively tell this to Us Weekly. She noted that their legal argument, quote, only holds weight if Tucker can prove his argument meets certain factors. While she believes Tucker, who's 52 years old, had, quote, ample time and opportunity to call his attorney before signing the prenup ahead of their 2014 wedding, Davis said, in the rare chance that Kandi's lawyers fraudulently asserted that Todd's attorney had signed off on the terms of the prenup when they had not, it might have a chance to win. However, in her opinion, the fact that Todd had an attorney on retainer and had been discussing the prenuptial agreement with him for months preceding the wedding makes his argument a losing one. So I know by now.
Okay, honestly, I have no problem with Todd getting a lawyer to help him through the whole prenup thing. Who really understands all the ins and outs of a prenup? The layperson, all we really know is it means you may not get half of what the person has, one of the people has in the relationship. It may stipulate a limit to alimony. It would definitely say who had what before the marriage is still theirs. And I'm not so sure it would say anything about community property because a prenup is before you're married, so there's no community until you do get married. But hey, you need help navigating this stuff. That's why I have no problem at all with him having a lawyer help him understand what was in Kandi's prenup. You need to do that anytime there's legal stuff you don't understand, get help. But I don't think Todd was doing it to understand it. I think he was doing it to see if there were any loopholes in it ahead of time and what he might be able to use against it later.
Now you've seen all the headlines where people have said to you, uh-oh, Todd might have a winning chance. We really don't know. It's going to be up to the judge to make that decision. Attorney Kay Bruggeman partner at Gallet, Dreyer, and Berkeley LLP, who has not worked with the estranged couple, agrees, telling us it could come down to the unaired Bravo footage. Unaired Bravo footage that Burruss is using in their divorce battle. Because Georgia requires full financial disclosure, voluntariness, and the absence of coercion, Todd would need to show that one of these elements was missing when he signed, she says. This is where the wedding related footage becomes significant. If the footage depicts Kandi or her family exerting undue pressure, setting last minute deadlines, or presenting the prenup under emotionally charged circumstances, Todd's argument could be persuasive. And here's the thing, a lot of people have been basing their opinions on the edited footage. Yes, based on what we saw on the edit, it probably did seem like, okay, this is drama. It's high drama. He's signing it right before the wedding. So a lot of people made their own legal determination based off of edited footage. But if we're talking about unaired footage, we were like, well, no, all of this played out within this amount of timeline. He had more than enough.
And I also want to bring up something else. Todd was never interested in his daughter's life. Kandi's the one who said, well, she's your daughter, she's family. I believe that's because his daughter's mother had no money. So why would he be interested? Right then and there, that should have told Kandi what a douchebag he was. But the heart wants what it wants, I guess.
For all we know, he could have called his attorney in the unaired footage. We don't know. That's how much reality television sometimes is manipulated. The attorney also says that the footage from the Real Housewives of Atlanta and 5-part reality television wedding documentary, Kandi's Wedding, could help Tucker. Similarly, if the footage or other evidence suggests that he did not fully understand the financial terms, did not have a realistic opportunity to consult independent counsel, or was rushed into signing without negotiation, Georgia courts may view those factors as a weakening the agreement's enforceability, she adds.
But he had a lawyer before he signed helping him through it. So how can they say he didn't if he did?
The number one issue Todd would have to prove to challenge the prenup is its involuntariness, that he was pressured, threatened, or coerced into signing, coupled with the lack of time to negotiate, consult with counsel, and understand the draft he ultimately signed. She continues, the particularly interesting part of this issue is what the raw footage captured. This is important to note because like I said before, I feel a lot of people are basing their opinion off of what we watch, which is edited. She says the particularly interesting part of this issue is what the raw footage captured, what producers can testify to, and if there are any dramatic effect put into the edited footage that can be contradicted by witnesses to show that any panic, coercion, or intensity in that moment was inserted for dramatic effect, and that all was settled prior to Todd signing. So this could also break the fourth wall. All the drama that you saw on Kandi's Wedding, they could be like, well, no, technically he didn't sign it that day. He signed and agreed to it the week before. I don't know if that's going to happen. We may never know if this is actually sealed. So Jonathan Witz, a New York-based divorce attorney who specializes in high conflict, high asset custody disputes and prenup litigation, tells Us Weekly that Tucker's prenup claim, quote, may have some validity as the lack of counsel is but one factor for the court to consider. While having counsel is an important right, it's not the be-all, end-all of the argument. The argument would have to be one-sided in favor of Kandi in terms of the rights or deprivation of rights under the agreement. Therefore, if the agreement was lopsided and deprived Todd of significant marital wealth, and he was unaware of the terms and Kandi had counsel to present, that could be enough to increase his odds at overturning the agreement. Who Leverwitz, who is not involved in the divorce case, says. Here's the other element too, in regards to what they're saying here, that based on what we saw on the show, Todd would be able to split everything that they did together during their marriage. It was just everything that Kandi had before the marriage that he would not have access to, including the home that they lived in. As you know, Kandi filed for divorce back on November 21st.
But yet, we've heard he wants his name on the deed of that house. Todd is no good. He just wants half of what Kandi has, which I get it. Even women who marry guys who have a lot of money, they want half. But Todd has been a detriment to this marriage, not an asset. There are tons and tons and tons of tax problems, tax fines, unpaid taxes that he was supposed to take care of, being this was his business, his ventures. Kandi was basically signing shit where the money was concerned to let him do what he wanted to do. But if this is what you're doing, like Sheriff Clara said, her net worth didn't go up in 11 years. That's a problem. He was not an asset to this marriage. Now, why is her net worth still at $40 million? Because she's been working nonstop. So she has been making sure they have this, that, and the other thing, and everything's in place and everything's in order, because he is not. So what's he going to do when he goes to court? Say he's been an equal partner in this marriage? Well, he's cost her a shit ton of money. Nothing went up in the marriage. And there's a bunch of tax problems. And the businesses he started are closed down. So he cannot claim he was an asset to this marriage.
Us first reported while Tucker.
And don't forget the girlfriend.
Acknowledged that he was given the prenup before their April 2014 wedding. He claims that his lawyer was not present when he was given the final draft. The former RHOA star brushed off those claims, alleging that Todd audibly announced that he was good to sign the prenup during a private encounter with her after talking to his lawyer on and off camera. Besides the prenup, Burruss and Tucker are also fighting over custody of their two children, son Ace, who's 9, and daughter Blaze, who's 6. Burruss, as you also know, has an older daughter. Riley, who's 23 from a previous relationship. Todd has Kayla from a previous relationship as well. Todd is demanding primary custody of Ace and Blaze, claiming that his ex's work schedule will require her to be away from the kids for several months. Burruss, who was initially asked for joint custody, later changed her request to sole custody. Kandi argued that each of their careers have required them to travel away from the home for extended periods of time independently and jointly prior to and after the births of both of their minor children. Burruss also noted that they have a nanny and their kids have a diverse and concentrated family support network, which includes maternal grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins within a 5 to 20-mile radius.
And that's another thing. He wants full custody. Meanwhile, he's been out of the country numerous times, just as long as she has. So now there's a problem with her traveling for work. The problem is he had access to her money before this. Now that he doesn't, he wants the kids for that fucking child support. Because if it was okay to leave the kids before, why isn't it okay to leave the kids now?
Of the family's residence. After ending their 11-year marriage, the exes put their differences aside and celebrated Thanksgiving together. But now it seems as if they are supporting each other on social media. Speaking of Kandi being away, Kandi's going to be in the Broadway show And Juliet. She was on The View today and singing. She actually sounded really good. I will be going to see this on Broadway, most definitely, just because I like the premise of it. And Kandi really made me go like, oh, I do want to see this. Well, apparently Todd wants to see it too, because Todd said on social media that in support of Kandi, he posted the video clip of him watching it and said, "Great job, Kandi." And he added Kandi and said, "Great job, keep inspiring and doing your thing!" Exclamation point. Kandi responds 6 hours ago at the time of this recording, "Thank you," with a heart emoji. And for those that have been speculating that something happened between Kandi, Todd, and Fatum, she also was in the comment section as well and added Kandi as well, saying that she did a great job. So, no smoke here. Looks like the divorce might turn amicable. We shall see. Only time will tell. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on.
Okay, there's that video. And now here's this video. Like I said, go sub up to Kempire. He is phenomenal with this stuff. He really is. Let's see. Share screen. And here we go. The only duress, I think, is the fact that he hadn't signed it even the day before the wedding. or 2 days before the wedding. He kept dragging it out and dragging it out, I think because he wanted to wear her down. And again, this is just my opinion. Wear her down to where she said, you know what? Forget the prenup. I'm in love. But Kandi is too smart of a woman, especially financially, for that. So I think he dragged it out as much as he could. And I do think he knew this could go against her if he did that. And like I said, from what I've seen about these marriages where they bring other people into the bedroom, I'm sure women take advantage of it. I'm sure. But I've honestly only heard of men actually going out, having sex with whoever they want, and say, well, what do you care? You don't mind when we bring someone into the bedroom with us, which that's one thing. What they're doing is another. And to a lot of guys, there's no difference. Okay, but if you agree to do something a certain way, you stick to it. But it seems like, and like I said, I'm sure women do it too, but the guys get greedy and want more. I don't trust Todd at all. So, yeah, I think it could be him. Just plain and simple. But again, as this story unfolds, we'll know more. This is all that's out there right now. But as soon as there's more, I'll put it out.